Now, as New Zealanders, we pride ourselves on having a very multicultural society. It was very interesting to see that this year marks the 50th anniversary of Merdika. Merdika in Bahasa Malay means independence. And on that note, we had an interview with Dato Sufian Ahmed on trade relations between New Zealand and Malaysia. So now, without further ado, viewers, let's cross over and see what he had to say.
Malaysia is New Zealand's largest trading partner in the ASEAN region, and New Zealand's 8th largest trading partner globally, if we treat the EU as a single market. In the year to December 2004, Malaysia was New Zealand's 10th largest export market, taking $523 million worth of exports, and our 10th largest import source, supplying $843 million worth of imports. Malaysia is also a significant market for New Zealand services exports. Tourists and students from Malaysia contributed more than $70 million to the New Zealand economy in 2003, with exports of other commercial services like engineering. Professional services for the same year were worth $8 million. Malaysia is celebrating 50 years of Merdika-Independence. By 2020, Malaysia hopes to become a fully developed nation.
These connections were strongly reaffirmed by the visit of our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Helen Clark, to Malaysia in July, accompanied by a delegation of business people from the knowledge-based sectors.
Could you please outline the understanding between the two countries, Malaysia and New Zealand? I mean, in terms of FTA agreement, in terms of student exchange. I mean, how do you see the relationship going into the future?
We have a very vibrant relation between our two countries, Malaysia and New Zealand. Historically, Malaysia and New Zealand has been cooperating in, I would say, three major areas: defense, education, trade and commerce. We have the Malaysian student coming to New Zealand under Colombo Plan. There are more than 20,000 of them trained in various universities in New Zealand. Today we have about 4,000 of them studying here. 90 PhD students from Malaysia are doing their PhD in Auckland, in Victoria, Wellington, and in Otago in the south. Defense, we have the five-power defense arrangement: Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, Singapore. It has been there in place for many years. That has provided us stability. And of course, trade and commerce has been going on. As I mentioned at the seminar, the total trade between Malaysia and New Zealand is around 1.6 billion New Zealand dollars. And that is 0.3% of our total trade, Malaysian total trade.
Now, in terms of the halal market, Malaysia seems to be emerging as a global power in terms of not only the meat sector, food sector, but also into cosmetics, and even now into the manufacturing of Islamic car as well.
Well, I myself could, I don't know about this labeling Islamic car. A car is a car. But they were talking about putting some gadget inside there where the Qiblat is, the prayer direction for prayer, and what time to pray, things like that, that you can put in the car. So whether that make a car Islamic, I don't know. But it's a nice labeling, because we are looking at a potential. The Muslim market for the Muslims is huge. We are talking about Africa, and the south of Sahara, north of Sahara, and then Indonesia, Bangladesh, in India, in Pakistan, in all those Central Asian republics, we have this huge reservoir of ready market, and as their purchasing power increase, we have to get ready for their demand. Market is there. We have created a lots of interest in our country, because all this while when we talk about halal, it is confined to food that we take. Actually, it's much wider than that. We have, like you say, is cosmetic. There are lots of ingredients that goes into it that Muslims need to avoid, and you tend to have more confidence if you prepare all those products according to the Islamic standard. And medicine, for example, in pharmaceutical, for example, that we can't be taking from if the chemical is animal based, and you can't take from just any animals. For us, we have to be very careful. We have taken this initiative to have an exposition of halal business. I think soon in Malaysia we are going to host yet another of these international expositions. More than 1,000 people will come from all over the world to transact their business, to do their order, to display their products and all that. And we have discovered the potential, and we want to make Malaysia the center where all these activities and transaction exchanges of halal product. And we have developed a standard. When you say this item is halal, is because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this standard is an internationally recognized halal standard. It will be, you can call it a Malaysian halal standard. So it will be the same if you sell in the global market. We have opted to have this standard because we wish Muslim to have the confidence in consuming halal products.
Now, in terms of the goals for Malaysia, I mean, Malaysia has given itself time till 2020 to achieve its target of a fully developed economy nation. And incidentally, the country is celebrating also its 50th year of independence.
Right. Again, as I mentioned in my paper, you can trace the transformation of the Malaysian society from a laid-back, very small population, small economy, and now after 50 years, we have we are one of the leading world producer for some time, as you know, in rubber, for example, and then palm oil, and then in electronics, things like air conditions and computers, hardwares, and all that. It is there in place. And heavy industries like steel, making of automobile, car industries in Malaysia. Of course, we have some a little bit of petroleum production. Now, the government has laid down a track for that target to be a developed nation. When we say we want to be a developed nation, we want to have all those efficiencies of a developed society, accompanied with a new way of thinking. The mentality of a developed society is different. It's knowledge-based, is logical way of thinking, and of course the infrastructure is there. We have put in place the highways, the ports, the international airports, and all that. These cumulatively one day would work up to that target. While we are targeting ourselves to achieve that status by 2020, which is not too many years more, we are already laying down our plan for a long-term strategies, what we want to foresee our society as far into the future as 50 years in times. My Prime Minister has already been mentioning that 2057. So he's laid this basically this is why he has laid down the Northern Economic Development Region, the Eastern Economic Development Region, and the South, the IDR. We will be giving lots of facilities and incentive in terms of tax and pioneering status and all that for foreign investors to come. We have been enticing foreign investors since the 60s, and we have been quite successful. Our society has, to some extent, been transformed. It's transformed. People are eager to get education. And as I mentioned earlier on, people are occupied with wealth creation. The majority of us are Muslim. But we are a kind of Muslim that wants to balance life in the world as well as life after. And failure in life in this world to us will not really give us a good life in the afterlife. So that kind of logic is evolving in the Malaysian mind. So this is the basic fundamental understanding of all those targets that we have put up for ourselves.
Next week.
One of the reasons why Dick Hubbard is no longer mayor and Bruce Huck is no longer deputy mayor is because the public didn't like the way that they'd increased rates by 30% in the 3 years that they were in office.
Up in the Mirror on satellite, cable and terrestrial network.
And there you have it, friends. The show is over. As usual, it's been fantastic sitting here and talking to you all. It is my pleasure every week. Now, I'd be very intrigued to find out what you thought of today's show. Please fire in all your comments, positive and negative, to info@teamworkproductions.co.nz, and please make the time of the week to have a look at our website, www.teamworkproductions.co.nz. Now, my quote of the week, as I promised, now it kind of carries on from what we talked about regarding what's happening with poverty and impoverishment with children. We're so busy in day-to-day life that we try to take focus on what's happening around us. So here's the quote for this week. It's not so much the destination of where we're going in life, it's the journey. So with that, my friends, I'm Javed Khan. This was Up in the Mirror. To the stars and beyond, be safe and be well. Pomaria.